Hello, everyone. This is the Ranger Gamer 06 coming at you here. Today, I want to do a book review of the Icewind Trilogy, which is part of the Legend of Dritch series, which I kind of mentioned in my previous video. Uh, Now, I wasn't going to start with this one because usually in the way I read books, playing games, I like to do things in chronological order. But I want to start with the Icewind Dale trilogy because these were the first book that came out in the 80s and throughout 1990. Uh, so I just want to start with book four, The Crystal Shard. I know it's not really good quality, a little glare, and there's a spine. You can see the number four, and my finger's in the way. And then the back. And then up next, we got book five, Streams of Silver, which this is what it looks like. Sorry for the glare. Spine, and then the back. And then third and final book of the trilogy is The Halfling's Gem. And this one even says The Legend of Dritch 6. Not sure why the other two didn't say that, but this is the spine and the back. And yeah, actually, this is actually a good picture of the other characters. The woman with the bow, her name's Canterbury. The guy in the middle with the warhammer, he's a barbarian named Wolfgar. And the door with the axe is Brunar, Battlehammer. Uh, Now, of course, there'll be names on here that I'm not going to able to pronounce because it's fantasy. So, uh, but anyway, so I'm gonna start with that, and kind of like in a way, this kind of reminds me of the original Star Wars movies. You know how the first one came out in 1977, all the way to up to 83, which was Return of the Jedi. So a lot of people, if you were new to Star Wars, you come up to someone and said, "Hey, I'm get to st" and that's fine too. I mean, it is the first one that came out, it's what started it all, and really you won't be confused. So if you're new and you start the original trilogy and then watch a prequel, you'll be fine. And same thing with these books, you know, these came out first. However, uh, there was a prequel trilogy called the Dark Elf trilogy. It's like Drizzt origin, when he was born and how he became a ranger and all that good stuff. But I'll cover that in the next video. So I thought I'll start with this since this is where it all started. And the Crystal Shard is Drizzt's first appearance, like ever. This is when people first heard of him. And so, I thought because of that reason, I want to do this trilogy first. And a little history, though, before I get into this review that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to pull it up here because, hang on one second. Uh, it's really cool, and I didn't know about this. And this all started in 1987. Uh, he Salvatore, R.A. Salvatore, the author, by the way, the guy who created the characters and drifts, and says here that he made a manuscript to Mary Kershaw, who was at the time with the managing editing of TSR Inc. I'm not sure what that stands for. It was an American game publishing company and the publisher of Dungeons and Dragons D&D. Now they no longer exist. I'm not sure what the reason was exactly. So I'm not going into details. Now this manuscript that Salvatore sent later will become a 1990 novel Echoes of the Fourth Magic. Now Mary liked it, however, but she told Salvatore to rewrite so they could fit it in the Forgotten Realms. And so she sent him a copy of Darkwalker on Moonshae, by Douglas Niles. Now, at the time, that was the first book in the Forgotten Realms. I didn't know that. Uh, and so Salvatore, I'm assuming he loved it because he wanted to do a sequel to this book. But Mary's like, she went in and sent him a large amount of the Forgotten Realms. He's like, hey, I want you to write a new story. Pick a spot in the map where you want your story to take place. So he was looking and he found Icewind Dale. And so he started there, and that's how he started writing the Crystal Shard. And let's see, later, yeah, when he got finished in an early copy to her, and then one day, I guess like 2 weeks later, I'm going to say, she calls him saying, hey, this is good. Some of the characters are not going to work out. And it doesn't go into detail on that. So I don't know what character she's talking about that wasn't good in the book. But, and so, she's like, I want you to do something else. Because at the time, she was running late for a meeting. She went to a meeting. And so, Sandra was like, "What can I think about?" It's like, "No, I need a character now." So, top of Salvatore's head, the author of these books said "Dark Elf." Okay, and so, okay, so what's his name? Dritz du Erden. How do you pronounce that? And he replies, "Not a chance." I thought that was really cool, and so that's how Dritz came to be. And it was just really cool, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Uh, So, yeah, in case you got wondering, these version of these books are 2005 edition. So I love these artwork, by the way. I'm not for sure who did it, uh, but these artwork are just fantastic. I love them. It really stands out. I mean, covered his head there. There we go. There we go. I love these artworks. It's really, really cool. And by the way, that little guy there is that's Regis the halfling. He's another character in the books. So yeah, and like I said, these are numbered. At the time when they came out, they weren't numbered, just like the original Star Wars trilogy. Star Wars wasn't called Episode 4: A New Hope. It was just Star Wars or Star Wars: A New Hope until the prequel trilogy came out uh, in 1999, which was Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And that's when they went back and numbered the original trilogy so it would connect. Same thing with these books, this and the Dark Elf trilogy, which again, I will go over that in the next video. So, go on with this review. I'm not going to try to get into details because I don't want to spoil for you guys. 'Cause I want you guys to read these books. It's fantastic. If you're into the fantasy book, you have to read it. If you haven't read these books, I mean, seriously, you're missing out. These are great read, great read. And hardcovers are really expensive. That's kind of reason why I got paperback trade. I prefer hardcovers. Uh, I don't know, they look and they feel nice. Paperbacks are okay. They're cheaper, and that's a good thing about paperbacks. But the thing is, you really can't see it, and I can kind of feel it's not too bad actually. This one, when you read it so much, 'cause I'll show you an example. Hang on. When you open up a book, you read it, you're bending the spine and it causes a crease. And that could be very annoying, but I take good care of my stuff. So, as you can see, they look fine, great condition, all my books are. And, but yeah, so that's the reason why I kind of prefer, uh, hardcover. So, but anyway, let's go on with the review. Not much. It's a group of heroes. They're called the Companions of the Hall, which remind me of the Fellowship from the Fellowship of the Ring. So anyway, that's what they are. So they go up against this evil wizard. Cannot pronounce his name. It was I got it right here somewhere. Akar Keller. Again, I cannot really pronounce. I think that's how you pronounce it. But Some of these names, that's the thing about fantasy books, you got names that you can't pronounce. But hey, it's all good, that's why we use our imagination. So, yeah, Akar Kessel. That's Akar, last name Kessel. So, but anyway, he gets a hold of this crystal shard. I'm not going to details. I'm just kind of a little brief summary of this trilogy. So he gets a hold of this crystal shard, also known as I got right, and I'll spell out to you guys. Crenshinaban. I d it's another name for it. It's Crenshinibion. Yeah, it's a again, another weird name, but basically what it does, it gives the user powers, kinda in a way, it kinda reminds me of the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. So, it gives the users power, and you can use it to control other people's minds, and it creates these towers, like big structures that resemble the crystal shard itself, and that's really the gist of what the crystal shard does. Uh, Now it does explain the origin of it, but I don't want to get into that because, like I said, I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to read it, and seriously, it's worth the read. It's a really good book. Uh, and so basically, that's what it's about. You got this hero, Dritz, the Dark Elf, he's a ranger, uh, which in Dark Elf Trilogy, he becomes a ranger, but I'll get into that in my next video. And then you got this Brunor, who's a dwarf. Uh, he's a king or soon to be king of Mithril Hall. It's a dwarven stronghold. Kind of like Thor and his pals in The Hobbit. And so him, you got Wolfgar the Barbarian. He joins in. You got Cadbury. She's a adopted. She's a human female. But it doesn't really say what her class is. I want to say rogue, but she gets adopted as a child by Bruno. So that's why if you ever read the book, she has that dwarven accent because she was raised by dwarves. So, and then you have Reaches. He's a halfling. So you got him on there. So together they are the companion of the hall, and they go up against this wizard. They finally defeat him and everything. And now they're like, okay, let's go. Bruno, he goes, let's reclaim my home, Mithril Hall. And that's how the kind of the first book ends. And then you get the second book, which is Streams of Silver. Uh, and there was probably, and I think that all three of them are good. I'm not saying I don't like one. I think the second one my personal favorite. Uh, and this is kind of like to continue the journey to Mithril. So now they're going there, and they actually make and they met there eventually. And it's also the first appearance of an assassin named Artemis Ontriri. Forgive me if I mispronounce his name. Correct me on the comments below. So yeah, so that's his first appearance, and his fighting skill is the same match as Dritz. So they're equal. So throughout the series and a couple more books, they collide together here and there. So he's a cool character, actually. I like him. Uh, and so not a whole lot to tell. And also, Cadbury. This is the first book. I just told them the weapon that they get. Cadbury gets her bow. It's like a magical bow named Talmarl, the Heartseeker. Uh, and Drist. Now, if you guys know who Drist is already, if you don't know, uh, for those who do know, his signature weapons are scimitar. He has two scimitars. Uh, from my understanding, he has about maybe three sets, but the most memorial one is the magical ones, Icing Death and Twinkle. In this book, he gets Icing Death, uh, named after a dragon, and oh my god, that is a long, long name. Let me find it. Yes, I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not gonna bother, but I will spell it out to you guys. It's Ingelokastimizilian. I'm not kidding. That's how long his name is. but commonly known as Icing Death, and that's how he named his scimitar. He named it after the dragon, which was found in a treasure hoard, which kind of, you think about it, that's kind of a ripoff from The Hobbit, because wasn't there a dragon that protected a pile of treasure? So you see, that's already been done. So I'm surprised the publisher let that pass. I don't care. It's a good book. I still enjoyed it. It's a fantastic read. And that's another thing. Mr. Hall. The I the dwarf Brunar again. Thor and his pal in the Hobbit went on a journey to reclaim their home. That's kind of the gist of the story on that. But yeah, so there are some references from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings if you read these books. At first I was kind of disappointed, but I like it. It's fantasy, and actually, uh, I believe it was J.R. Tolkien that inspired R.A. Salvatore to write these books. And if you think about it, Tolkien is a godfather of fantasy. He got me into fantasy. Back in the day, I think I started high school real fast before I continue on with my review. Uh, I didn't really care about fantasy. I didn't hate it. I just wasn't really into it. And I started watching Lord of the Rings. I think my mom had rented it, because I just started high school. I was in ninth grade. And my mom had rented, 'cause, we read about it, it was popular, people were talking about it, so my mom rented it, and I kinda knew that it was based on the book, I could just tell. So I thought, "Okay, whatever, I'll watch it, it's not gonna kill me." So I watched it, and I fell in love with it. I was like, "I gotta read the books now." So I started reading the books, and then I just loved it, and so now I'm into fantasy, so now I'm reading, this, Legend of Drizzt, I got caught up, I got one more book to read, and, well, it's not. It's a prequel to the series, A Song of Ice and Fire. Uh, for those who don't know what that is, that's the show Game of Thrones is based off of. Is that so? But I'll do a video on that sometime later. Maybe in the future. Uh, but yeah. So anyway, know about that. So now, what the third book is the Halfling's Gem, and pretty because what happened. Not spoiling too much. There's a reason that the assassin is in the second book. He's outrageous for a reason. I don't want to get into much on that. But in the end, he finally gets where he kidnaps him. From the third book, Dresden and his friends have to go and rescue him. That's kind of the gist of that. But but anyway, that's my review. I know it wasn't a whole lot. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I don't want to tell you the whole thing. You're like, oh, well, he just told me, so I don't need to read it. No, you guys need to read this book. If you haven't read it, if you love fantasy, I mean, seriously, read it. It's a great, fantastic read. And like I said, if you are new to this series, uh, you can actually start with Icewind Trilogy. It won't hurt, and then go back and read the Dark Elf Trilogy. That's fine. Me personally, I prefer to do things in chronological order. That's just me, though. I read the Dark Elf Trilogy. That was my first Rose book, and then I dived into Icewind Dale, and so on. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the review. I know this is my first review. So I know it wasn't much, but I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit, and see how good it is. Now, before I leave, there is a little bonus I'm going to show to you guys. Uh, I bought this from eBay a few months ago. Uh, uh, it's okay, it was a few months ago from eBay, and I'll show it to you guys. Hang on, and and I'm really gonna have these. A really great collection if you're a Drizzt fan. These are Funko Pops. There he is, Drizzt, and his companion, Guinevere. Two-pack, you can see his cape, his scimitars. There's a tail, and the head moves, so Yeah. Now these are kinda steep. Now these came in 2 pack, okay? So, you're getting both, figures, but, it's like 40 something dollars, so that is kinda steep for a Funko Pop, but if you're a fan, I say go for it. Uh, if you go on eBay, there is, uh it's about the same price. I about 45, the cheapest one. I went on Amazon and, they're like 60 bucks. So, unless you're a hardcore, go ahead and go for it. But if you're like me, $45 to me, that's pretty good, I guess, because 'cause you're getting 2 figures. So, yeah, so if you're a huge fan of the series, you don't have these, get them. I mean, you gotta have these in your collection. These are really cool to have. I'm glad to have. Uh, I put these in front of my books, my Thriz books, so, perfect place to put them at. But anyway, that's all for now, guys. Thank you for watching, and, please, again, subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and be sure to hit the notification button so you get some, updates on more videos. So, anyway, thank you for watching. This is Gamer Ranger '06 signing out. Thank you.